It's 7 p.m. Monday, August 12th, here in Seoul.
Coming up on NEWSCENTER tonight. South Korea hits back at Japan in their trade conflict, saying it'll strip Tokyo off its list of trusted trading partners. Japan will no longer enjoy preferential treatment on over 1,700 strategic items starting next month.
President Moon Jae-in urges the Korean people to not get emotional and stay cool-headed when reacting to Japan's trade curbs. He says a peaceful and objective approach is best for both countries.
In an industry first, Samsung unveils a mobile image sensor that exceeds 100 megapixels. The latest technology means we could start seeing mobile camera resolutions on par with high-end DSLR cameras.
And congratulatory messages pour in as Arirang TV celebrates 20 years since it began overseas broadcasting across the globe. Korea's largest English-language channel now airs in over 100 countries, introducing the very best in Korean news and culture. NEWSCENTER begins now. Good evening and welcome to Arirang NEWSCENTER. Coming to you live from Seoul, I'm Noadam.
And I'm Han-Dan. Welcome to the program. The South Korean government says it plans to drop Japan from its white list of countries that get preferential treatment on trade.
The announcement comes just 10 days after Tokyo removed Seoul from its whitelist. Kim Hye-sung starts us off.
South Korea's trade ministry announced Monday that it has decided to remove Japan from its 29-country white list of trusted trade partners that are given preferential treatment on over 1,700 strategic items.
We need to put an export control system in place given that it's hard to work closely with countries that continuously violate basic principles of export control or that run their systems inappropriately.
Korea had put its export partners into two groups. Group A for countries like the U.S. and Canada, which are signatories to 4 major international export agreements, including the Wassenaar Arrangement, and Group B for other countries, including China. But now Group A will be divided into A1 and A2 plus Group B, making it a total of 3 groups. The Trade Ministry says Japan will fall into Group A2 as a country whose export control systems go against international export control agreements. Group A2 will face tighter export controls, tantamount in principle to those faced by Group B, so Korean exporters will not get blanket permission to ship certain strategic items to Japan. Korean companies shipping to countries listed in A2 will have to submit 5 different documents instead of 3 for individual strategic items. The approval process will also take around 15 days, up from the current 5. The changes will go into effect not immediately, but around September after a gathering of public opinion for 20 days. The South Korean government's announcement comes 10 days after Tokyo removed Seoul from its white list, making around 1,100 items vulnerable to stricter export curbs. But at the same time, the Trade Ministry added that Seoul is ready to discuss the issue anytime and anywhere with Japan upon its request during the opinion-gathering process, leaving the door open to negotiations. Kim Hye-sung, Arirang News.
Now, much attention is being focused on how much Japan's removal from Korea's white list of trading partners will affect Japan. Experts say the measures will have a limited impact on Japan for now, but warn Seoul may step up its measures if negotiations with Tokyo don't work. HyunJoong with the details.
Regarding the South Korean government's decision on Monday to remove Japan from its white list of trusted trading partners, some experts see it as a rather less aggressive response to Japan's latest export curbs.
Originally, the South Korean government planned to categorize Japan in Group C, but instead it has divided Group A into 2 and put Japan in Group A2. This means the government would not stir up Japan's emotions.
Some experts say the decision is one of the least strong measures, leaving some room for further negotiation. The government also opened a dialogue channel with Tokyo on Monday. If talks don't work out well, they say, Seoul may move on to the next step.
Japan will be comparatively less affected by the decision because South Korea does not ship that many strategic goods to Japan. However, terminating GSOMIA or the intelligence sharing agreement with Japan is a different thing. It will impact Japan, so ending GSOMIA could be the next step.
When asked if Seoul and Tokyo can improve their ties after South Korea's National Liberation Day of August 15, the expert added it will be difficult to mend the ties unless the two sides find a way to narrow down their stark differences over the forced labor issue. In the meantime, a Japanese government official said on Monday that it does not believe Seoul's move will greatly impact Japan, but added that Tokyo will keep an eye on the situation for now. HyunJoong, Arirang News.
Many South Koreans find it hard to be insensitive about Japan's retaliatory measures on trade, especially with the decades-old scars from Japan's colonial rule. But President Moon Jae-in says what's needed now is an objective approach to tackle the situation with real solutions. Park Hee-jun at the Blue House.
President Moon Jae-in, while reiterating how wrong Japan's measures are, highlighted the need for future-oriented relations, bringing back the importance of a two-track approach to Seoul-Tokyo ties. During a meeting with his top aides on Monday, he said that because of the great pain that Japan's colonial rule brought upon South Korea in the past, Koreans cannot help but take Japan's economic retaliation seriously. However, he emphasized the need for people to stay objective and get through the situation.
과거 일본 제국주의로부터 큰 고통을 받았던 우리로서는 현재 벌어지고 있는 일본의 경제 보복을 매우 엄중한 일로 받아들이지 않을 수 없습니다. 그러나 일본의 경제 보복에 대한 우리의 대응은 감정적이어서는 안 됩니다. 결기를 가지되 냉정하면서 또 근본적인 대책까지 생각하는 긴 호흡을 가져야 합니다.
Moon added that people are approaching this year's National Liberation Day with an even more determined attitude because the retaliatory measures stem from the two countries' history. But he said that South Korea's spirit, while opposing hostile nationalism, aims for equality and peaceful coexistence based on love for humanity. And for keeping that spirit, the president thanked the Korean people, saying it could help build better ties with its neighbor.
일본 정부의 부당한 경제 보복에 대해 결연하게 반대하면서도 양국 국민 간의 우호 관계를 훼손하지 않으려는 의연하고 대승적인 모습을 보여주고 있습니다. 양국 국민이 성숙한 시민의식을 바탕으로 민주 인권의 가치로 소통하고 인류애와 평화로 우위를 다진다면 한일 관계의 미래는 더욱 밝아질 것입니다.
Such remarks by President Moon can be seen as a preview of his National Liberation Day speech coming up this Thursday. He's expected to repeat the messages he's made so far, criticizing Japan for its economic retaliation, but calling for resolution through dialogue. Park Hee-jun, Arirang News.
Deputy National Security Advisor Kim HyunJoong says that Japan's move to expel South Korea from its whitelist has only a handful of real effects on Korea. During an interview with TBS Radio on Monday, Kim said this conclusion was made after he reviewed the around 1,200 strategic materials affected by the decision. He said that was why President Moon had said South Korea could win against Japan. Kim also said Korea needs to reduce its reliance on other countries for national security, as there is no guarantee that the same kind of problem couldn't occur in the security sector. Also, regarding his trip to Washington last month, Kim clarified that he did not ask the U.S. for mediation, as doing so would only have made Korea a global pushover. The National Assembly Speaker has called for bipartisan efforts to deal with diplomatic and security challenges the country is currently facing. Speaking with the chiefs of the country's 5 main political parties Monday, Moon Hee-sang stressed the need to come together as one amid the unprecedented threats on the diplomatic, security, and economic fronts. Ruling Democratic Party Chair Lee Hae-chan called the situation very serious and urged parliamentary efforts to deal with such challenges. Hwang Kyo-an, the chair of the main opposition Liberty Korea Party, said their stance to provide bipartisan cooperation is unchanged, but expressed regret over the government's response measures. A growing number of Japanese people are protesting against its leader Shinzo Abe, saying he's been destroying Japan's ties with South Korea. On the other side of the political aisle, Abe's far-right supporters are praising the government's actions, further deepening Seoul's rift with Tokyo. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
Over the weekend, Koreans and Japanese took to the streets of Tokyo with lit candles to demonstrate against Japan's economic retaliation on South Korea.
First off, I think we should overthrow the Abe administration. We need to improve our relations with South Korea with a new government.
About 30 minutes into the peaceful candlelit march, a group of angry right-wing supporters appeared near the intersection, carrying the Rising Sun flag, a symbol of Japan's imperialist past. Local police blocked the two sides to prevent them from clashing, but the right-wing supporters started to chant disgraceful comments towards the peaceful demonstrators.
Kick out the Koreans demanding money. Kill them.
Despite South Korea's boycott on Japanese goods and tourism, Japan's conservatives continue to ridicule Korea. This includes the conservative daily, the Sankei Shimbun, which continues to applaud the Abe administration for the economic retaliation and has even refused to report on the South Korean boycott. The broadcaster of Japan's DHC Group subsidiary, well known in South Korea as a cosmetics and dietary supplement company, also added its voice to the far-right commentaries. It claims South Koreans will forget about the issue over time, and it's better to ignore them. The president of the company has been known for his extreme comments, even taking to his company's website 3 years ago to demand Korean Japanese be kicked out of Japan. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
In other news, North Korea has officially described the latest missiles it launched over the weekend as a, quote, new weapons system. And military sources say they resemble systems used by the U.S. Army. Kim Ji-yeon explains.
North Korea's claim that it test-fired a new weapons system different from the ones it already had does carry weight. Apart from the fact that each launcher load can carry 2 missiles, a military source said the missiles launched by North Korea last Saturday appear to have traits similar to the U.S. Army's surface-to-surface tactical missile system, known as ATACMS, in that they can scatter hundreds of submunitions during the final dive-in phase into an area of 3 or 4 soccer fields simultaneously with the aim of inflicting pervasive damage. That's different from the ballistic missiles launched by the North during the series of launches conducted over the 2 weeks since July 25th, aimed at targeting a specific location or building. Local media outlets have speculated that North Korea's latest missiles are particularly critical in that they're capable of inflicting damage to key military air bases in South Korea that house F-35A stealth fighter jets, making it difficult to restore runways when they're targeted. They're thought to be hard to intercept considering their low flight altitude, which was recorded at some 48 kilometers, and their maximum flight speed of Mach 6.1, which is around 7,466 kilometers per hour. They're different from the other short-range ballistic missiles the North has launched this summer, which South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff has said based on simulations that they're able to neutralize using the Patriot anti-missile system. The spokesperson for the presidential office of Cheongwade, however, countered speculation Monday that it is not true South Korea is unprepared to counter the missiles currently being fired by North Korea, and that the government has always stated North Korea's short-range ballistic missiles could be intercepted by the anti-missile systems based on the Patriot. Based on photographs released by the North, the latest weapon is not believed to be the same one it test-fired on July 31st, which local military experts said appeared to be a multiple-launch rocket system equipped with a caliber of 400 millimeters, a size which is bigger than the 300 millimeters seen until now. And local experts say that means it's now capable of targeting critical facilities in South Korea more accurately. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
South Korea's unification ministry says North Korea's denunciations of South Korea for its joint military exercises with the US are not helping to improve inter-Korean relations. The ministry said today the ongoing Combined Command Post training exercise is not a large-scale field drill that targets the North, but only a computer-based exercise that prepares for the OPCON transfer from Washington to Seoul. It added the drill does not violate the inter-Korean military agreement. Pyongyang's foreign ministry issued a statement on Sunday lashing out at Seoul, saying it won't talk with the South unless it pulls out of the joint military exercises or provides a convincing reason. Samsung has unveiled its newest 108-megapixel mobile image sensor, becoming the first in the industry to go beyond 100 million pixels. Made in collaboration with Chinese phone giant Xiaomi, Samsung's latest edition provides a mobile camera resolution equivalent to that of a high-end DSLR camera. HyunJoong reports.
Samsung Electronics has introduced the industry's first mobile image sensor that goes beyond 100 million pixels in what's dubbed the ISOCELL Bright HMX. Unveiling its latest addition to its mobile camera technology on Monday, Samsung said the new image sensor with its 108 megapixel will allow smartphone owners to take pictures in high-end DSLR camera quality, something that was once thought to be impossible before. According to the South Korean tech giant, the new image sensor can produce vivid photographs in both dark and bright environments, with a bigger surface area and smart ISO mechanism to better absorb light while increasing color accuracy. The industry's first 100 and plus megapixel image sensor also supports 30 frames per second filmed at 6K resolution, meaning its ability to record video without flaws makes it ideal to use in movie and broadcast shootings. Samsung has collaborated with Xiaomi to develop the high-resolution sensor for the Chinese firm's smartphones. Executive Vice President of Sensor Business at Samsung Electronics, Park Yong-in, said the company is continuously pushing to engineer its image sensors to capture the world as the human eye does. Co-founder and president of Xiaomi, Lin Bin, underscored the relationship Xiaomi has with Samsung, saying that the two IT giants will continue to cooperate in order to bring not only new mobile camera experiences, but also a platform through which our users can create unique content. Mass production for Samsung's ISOCELL Bright HMX will begin later this month. HyunJoong, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, Samsung Electronics has ranked second on the list of the companies with the most patents filed in the US, second only to IBM. LG Electronics was also quite high, coming in at 7th place. That's according to the Intellectual Property Owners Association in its list for 2018. While Samsung has been number 2 for over a decade now, over the same period, Japan went from having 6 companies in the top 10 to just 1. South Korea's exports for the first 10 days of this month fell 22% on year to $11.5 billion. The Korea Customs Service says the drop was due to weakening global demand, with semiconductor exports falling the most. Memory chips account for about a fifth of the country's total exports, and they plunged by more than a third. Shipments of petrochemical goods also fell by double digits. Exports to Korea's top 2 trading partners, China and the US, fell by 28% and 20% respectively, in effect, in part of their trade war. The Moon administration has tried a few things to cool down Korea's overheated housing market, and now it's announced a big new measure, a price ceiling system for apartments. Our Hong-Yu has the details.
The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport made the announcement on Monday morning following consultations between the government and ruling party. The newly adjusted price ceiling system on privately owned housing sites will be applied in October at the earliest. Currently, a price ceiling system which decides the personal price of apartments by adding a basic building cost set by the government only applies to public housing apartments. During the Nomuyan administration in the mid-2000s, such a system was applied to privately owned housing sites, but it ended up existing in name only as it was difficult to apply due to a contracting housing supply and a deterioration in apartment quality. On Monday, the government said it will be easing some of the prerequisites in applying the new system. Currently, regions where house prices have increased at twice the inflation rate during the previous 3 months have a price ceiling imposed on them. But with the reform, regions designated as a speculation-prone zones will be given a price ceiling. The specific zones will be revealed when the finalized legislation is ready. Currently, the government designates older apartment blocks that are being renovated as apartments that require price ceilings at the stage of planning for distribution and management. This means the government cannot put price ceilings on such apartments that don't get a cap when people start buying the apartments. But with the reform, the price ceiling can be applied at the stage where residents are allowed to buy. To prevent side effects from the price cap measure, such as selling the apartment after the required maximum 4 years of resale prohibition to make capital gains, the government has expanded the prohibition period to a maximum of 10 years. With such reforms, the government expects to protect consumers from overpriced housing. 홍유, Arirang News.
In Major League Baseball, the LA Dodgers' Ryu Hyunjin came off the injured list on Sunday to put in an impeccable performance to help the Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks. Our HyunJoong reports.
Back from a sore neck, the South Korean left-handed pitcher Ryu Hyunjin picked up right where he left off. Ryu strengthened his leading position in the race for his first Cy Young Award with 7 scoreless innings at Dodger Stadium as the LA Dodgers beat the Arizona Diamondbacks by 9-3 on Sunday. Ryu held the Diamondbacks by throwing just over 90 pitches and getting 4 strikeouts. He was on the winning side for the 12th time this season and lowered his earned run average from 1.53 to 1.45. Ryu's ERA is beyond impressive. In fact, it is nearly a full run better than the next best pitcher in terms of ERA, Atlanta Braves' Mike Soroka, who ranks second with 2.32. Nobody else in Major League Baseball has an ERA below 2 this year besides this Korean monster, and he is currently on track for the 5th lowest earned run average in MLB history. Ryu is now in the form of his career, easily outpacing his previous best of 1.74 ERA and 11 wins. And many experts say Ryu's chances of becoming the first Asian athlete to win the Cy Young Award are looking very strong. 원정환, Arirang News.
Over the last 2 decades, Arirang News has strived to bring you the latest and the most in-depth coverage of developments on the Korean Peninsula and in East Asia. And our Oh Soo-young spoke to some opinion leaders abroad who are also regular Arirang News viewers on what they hope to see from us going forward.
On its 20th anniversary, Arirang News spoke to regular contributors and observers from abroad on topics including politics and diplomacy, North Korea, as well as social issues, culture and sports.
Your channel is a very nice source for me on breaking developments and anything dealing with South Korean politics or inter-Korean relations or Northeast Asian regional politics. I enjoy interviews that you have with academics discussing these matters in depth. So it's a resource.
Arirang TV, of course, by interviewing Koreans, experts, government officials who are able to communicate in English, is able to provide a really useful service. Always important to know how Koreans see the world, but also an opportunity for non-Koreans to involve themselves in sharing their views about some of the big issues.
Observers say Arirang TV is acting as a crucial instrument of promoting awareness of not only Korean perspectives, but its many cultural assets.
When I'm on a long-haul airline, I sometimes go for the Korean films because I like the genre, if you like, and the different. I've always thought the British sense of humour is similar to the Korean sense of humour. In a way, soft power is a phrase that is often used these days, particularly in terms of the music and the culture and the film and so on. That's very powerful expression of culture throughout the world.
Broadcasting globally since 1999, Arirang News now airs in 103 countries, reaching over 142 million households.
Anybody's 20th birthday is a significant thing, isn't it? Because it's almost a passage from being a young person to being a proper adult. And so you've laid the groundwork in those first 20 years, and I hope very much in the next 20 years you become even more established.
Congratulations to you. I think we're moving into a period where there are a lot of issues and a lot of opportunities. And
well done, Arirang TV. It's fantastic that after 20 years you're still going strong, and I wish you all the very best in the future.
Going forward, the contributors said they hope to see Arirang further expand and establish itself as a valuable enriching network for viewers around the world. 오수영, Arirang News.
A US-based expert has warned that Japan not making amends for its war crimes might also threaten the global economy. In a recent column for The Washington Post, Greg Brzezinski, professor of history and international affairs at George Washington University, said Japan's export curbs on South Korea have caused memory chip prices to spike and are having a chilling effect on the global tech market. He added Tokyo should reckon with its past wartime atrocities, including its sexual enslavement of Korean women, for a peaceful and prosperous future. Unless Japan does more to reconcile with its neighbours, he said Asia will always be on the brink of another economic crisis. The Culture Ministry has announced 20 industrial tourism spots that show the importance of Korea's economic and industrial development. The locations were selected out of some 470 industrial facilities based on how attractive, well-known and connected to nearby tourist attractions they are. The sites range from industrial infrastructure to company museums and experience centres and include the Samsung Innovation Museum, Hyundai Motors Studio and a pottery town in Ulsan. South Korean golfer HyunJoong has won the Aberdeen Standard Investments Ladies Scottish Open. She scored 6 birdies in the final 9 holes of the last round on Sunday to finish 4 strokes ahead of 2 other competitors tied for second. She also finished with a tournament record of 20 under par. The win brings the 29-year-old's first LPGA title in 5 years. Her becomes the 7th South Korean to win an LPGA tour this season. K-pop sensation BTS are taking a break from all performances following a slew of concerts. Their agency, Big Hit Entertainment, said the boy band needed time off to rest and recharge. This is the first time BTS will have taken a break since their debut 6 years ago. It is not clear how long they'll be away for, but the group is scheduled to perform in Saudi Arabia on October 11th. That has been your 3-minute news flash. It's now time to take a look at some of Arirang's digital media content.
And Onion News is back, taking a look at the top trending stories.
일본에 항의를 하려고 고민을 하다가 길거리에 현수막을 좀 붙이면 어떨까 해서 SNS에 아는 지인들한테 알렸더니 반응들이 굉장히 좀 좋아서 주문을 받아서 이렇게 제가 좀 대신 적어주기도 하고.
정권이 잘못됐다고 해서 그 일본인들을 모두 부정할 수는 없겠구나라는 생각을 많이 했습니다. 그래서 노 일본이 아니라 노 아베 운동을 적극적으로 함께 해야겠다는 그런 생각까지 지금 오고 있어요.
Typhoon Lekima has brought heavy rain clouds, which have been drenching parts of the peninsula.
Let's get more on the weather from our Michelle Park at the Weather Centre. Michelle.
Now, due to the influence of Typhoon Lekima, rain has soaked parts of the capital and Chungcheongnam-do province with 30 millimeters of rain per hour. The rain has nearly cleared in the south, while the central region will continue to be wet until early tomorrow morning. And as for tomorrow afternoon, the rain should taper off and the heat wave will return with just light sporadic showers in the inland regions at times. Now brace yourselves for an uncomfortable morning, as Seoul is expected to get up to 27 degrees Celsius with ongoing rain and some high humidity. And into the day, Seoul will get up to 34 degrees, while Chuncheon and Daegu marks higher reading at 36 degrees under some cloud cover. Now, meanwhile, Typhoon Kurosa is expected to reach the East Sea later this week. Now, Korea will not be affected directly, but the East Coast and the East Sea will be indirectly affected by the typhoon starting Wednesday, and the central region will feel this effect on Thursday. I'll leave you with the weather conditions around the world.
That will wrap it up for this edition of Arirang News. Thank you, as always, for watching.
News in Depth is next.